Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the Zhang versus Parker breakdown video. As Zhang, the reigning WBO interim heavyweight champion of the world, will defend his title on Friday, March 8th when he takes on former WBO heavyweight champion Joseph Parker in a big-time heavyweight showdown on the Joshua Ngannou undercard on DAZN pay-per-view. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So, this heavyweight showdown right here is a big one in boxing. But before we get into that, normally with my breakdown videos, what we do is we talk about the fight itself, how big it is, then we get into each fighter, and ask the same questions. Then at the end, I will do the, is it better for boxing if one or the other wins, and then my prediction. So let's start with this fight coming in, how significant it is, and it's pretty damn significant for the heavyweight division heading into 2024 here, because, you know, Zhang and Joseph Parker had fantastic 2023s, and really have everybody kind of looking at them right now as you know, the guys that could be next in line for world titles. They're both hungry, they're both hot, coming off of their biggest wins, and they're ready to go. You know, it's a very good clash of two guys that are hot and ready to go right now. So very intriguing matchup. I'm very much looking forward to it. And the WBO interim heavyweight title is on the line, which means basically the winner is going to be getting an eventual title shot, or if the winner of Usyk and if the winner of Fury and Usyk for the undisputed title decide to give up that belt, the WBO belt, then the winner of this fight would be upgraded to champion. So a lot riding on this fight. So let's start with the reigning interim champion, Zhang, and take a look at what he's done coming into this fight. Now, we always go back to our last three fights, and 3 fights ago was in August of 2022, where Zhang suffered the only loss of his career, a very close decision loss to Filip Hrgović, in a fight that there was a lot of people that thought Zhang should have won. It was very close. These two guys went at it, and it really, you know, it was very, again, it was somewhat controversial, and there was a lot of people that thought Zhang should have pulled this one out, but, you know, that's the only loss of his career. Now, he bounced back from that with flying colors. In April of last year, 2023, he would take on Joe Joyce and challenge him for the WBO interim title, and he would dominate Joe Joyce, busting up his eye early and stopping him after 6 rounds to become the interim champion. But most people saw that as a, you know, Joyce was overlooking him and maybe he got lucky. Well, he left no doubt when they rematched in September of last year, and he would destroy Joe Joyce in only 3 rounds this time, knocked him out without the swelling around the eye, brutally knocked him out in 3 rounds to retain the interim heavyweight title. And now he is coming off of the biggest win of his career. He's got 6 months in between, or well, 7 months, 6 months in between fights, a good amount of rest for the 40-year-old interim champ, and he's looking forward to, you know, this one coming in. He knows it's a big card. He knows a lot's riding on it, but Zhang, just such a hungry attitude, and really just doesn't care who his opponent is. He wants to fight the best. Now, what does he need to do to win this fight? Well, he has the height advantage, so I think he can use that to his, you know, advantage, but try to catch Parker on the inside. If Parker tries to smother him, he needs to catch him with that straight left. The right hook was key against Joe Joyce, and I think if he can land the right hook, that will really, you know, play well for him in this fight. So I definitely think he needs to do that. He needs to have his stamina in order, because Joseph Parker is used to going 12-round fights, and he's also 8 years younger than Zhang. So Zhang needs to be built to go 12 rounds in this one. He needs to have that stamina in check. Now, can Zhang win this fight by knockout? I think he can. I think Zhang has that one-punch type power. He also could wear down Joseph Parker, get him into late rounds and stop him. So yes, I can see this fight ending by knockout. Can Zhang win this fight by a decision? I think he can, but stylistically, I think it's a interesting matchup, and I think it could be close if it goes to the scorecards. But I do think Zhang can take a decision. Now, what does a win mean for Zhang here? Well, to beat Joseph Parker would be big for him. It wouldn't be bigger than the Joe Joyce wins, but it would be big because it would lead to another, it would lead to a world title shot. It would lead to a bigger fight, and it would keep him on track for that world title opportunity. So a win would be big for him right here, especially on this card, because there's going to be a lot of eyes on this card paying attention. What does a loss mean for Zhang? A loss really would hurt him. He's rolling right now off of the 2 victories over Joe Joyce. He fought like hell against Filip Hrgović. So a lot of people are thinking, even at 40 years old, Zhang's a real serious player. And he's knocking on that door for a title shot, and a lot of people want to see that. So a loss would really hurt him, any kind of loss too. Even a close decision, I don't think people would be too surprised by that, but I still think that people, that would derail him, and at 40, he can't afford to get derailed. Okay, let's switch over to the challenger for the interim title, the former heavyweight champion, Joseph Parker, and take a look at him. Now, rolling into this fight, Parker is hot. He's won 4 consecutive fights since his loss to Joe Joyce in October of 2022. His last 3 fights date back to May of 2023, so he's been very active. He scored 2 knockout wins over little-known opponents, and then followed it up in December on the Day of Reckoning DAZN pay-per-view card when he challenged Deontay Wilder and scored the biggest victory of his career, a near shutout 12-round unanimous decision over the former WBC champion Wilder. So he is hungry as hell rolling into this fight, or else he wouldn't have signed it less than 3 months following his biggest win over Deontay Wilder. So Parker is ready, willing, and he knows that he's the underdog coming in, and I think he's owning that role to the fullest right here. Now, what does Parker need to do to win this fight against Zhang? And I think Parker needs to just be the mover in this fight, and he can't afford to be mixing it up and get caught by anything big. So he needs to try to, land the jab and be awkward and just score points in this fight and make it that kind of fight. But also at the same time, body work, I think, would would pay dividends for him, because Zhang is a 40-year-old fighter. He hasn't been the distance since August of 2022 when he lost to Filip Hrgović. He hasn't been the distance a ton because he's got such a good knockout record. So I think taking a 40-year-old fighter into the deep rounds will be big, and that's what Parker needs to focus on. Now, can Joseph Parker win this fight by knockout? I'm leaning towards the less likely, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a kind of wear down, stop him type performance, but I think it's more likely he wins a decision. Now, can he win a decision over Zhang? And I think the answer to that is an absolute yes. I think he can win a decision here. I think he can outwork him, but it's not going to be easy by any means. I think it could be a close fight. Now, what does a win mean for Joseph Parker in this fight? And a win would be huge. He becomes a WBO interim champion. It wouldn't be bigger than the win over Deontay Wilder, but it puts Parker in the driver's seat for a world title again, and the world title that he once held, the WBO belt. And that's what Parker wants, needs and wants, because he really wants to be taken serious as one of the top dogs in the heavyweight division again. And, as I told everybody, he dropped out of my top 10 for the first time in a long time heading into 2023, and then stole it back with a dominant victory over Deontay Wilder. Now, next is what does a loss mean for Joseph Parker? And it would really depend on how he loses. If he loses a close fight, it's not going to hurt him all that bad, because he can still play that gatekeeper type role. But if he gets his ass whipped in this fight, if he gets blown out, that might be all she wrote. You know, we might be looking at Deontay Wilder as past it, overlooking him, and Wilder just pulled one out of it. I mean, and Parker just pulled one out of his hat against him. So it depends on how he loses this fight, but a loss hurts either way, especially with him trying to get back into the mix for a world title. Okay, so finally, we get to, is it better for boxing if Zhang wins or Joseph Parker wins? And honestly, even Zhang at 40 years old, I still think it's better for boxing if he wins this fight. And the reason why is because we don't know how good Zhang really is. He's never had that opportunity in the ring against guys like Anthony Joshua and stuff like that, the top guys in the division. I think we already know what we got with Joseph Parker. You know, he's lost consecutive, and he's lost multiple fights. You know, he got beat by Joshua. It wasn't a clear-cut win for Joshua, but he got beat years ago. And then a very close, hard-fought battle with Dillian White, which I think we already know how good Dillian White is. And then a knockout loss to Joe Joyce. So, you know, I just think we already know what we got with Joseph Parker, and there's only a certain level he's going to hit, unless he's just dramatically better. So I think it's better for boxing if Zhang wins, but I don't think it's bad if Parker wins because he does have a big fan base, and I think Parker, after the win over Wilder, has turned a lot of heads. But now my prediction, who's going to win this fight between Zhang and Joseph Parker? And I honestly have to say Zhang's going to win this fight, in my opinion. I'm picking him to win by a middle to later round stoppage. The fact that Joe Joyce broke down Joseph Parker and stopped him is my template here. I think Zhang throws caution to the wind a little more and boxes and punches, and he's very good at that. And I think he's got equal to better power than what's his name, Joe Joyce. But the fact that he's gonna box and punch is gonna be the difference here, just like it was for Joe Joyce. See, Joseph Parker, what I've noticed over the last few years is he gets hit more because he's willing to mix it up. The reason I think he beat Deontay Wilder was because he smothered Wilder, who throws one punch at a time for the most part. Wilder doesn't box. So going in against a boxer like Joe Joyce, you know, and against Zhang, who can box as well and punch, I think that's going to be the difference, and I think Zhang will break him down and stop him. But I do believe Parker's a very live underdog. I think he's riding a lot of confidence, and I would not be surprised if he pulled off this win. So that's it. That's what I got. That was my Zhang versus Parker breakdown video, as they will collide for the WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship of the World on Friday, March 8th on DAZN pay-per-view from Saudi Arabia. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.